the overlooked bird that could transform farming profits forever. Part 1: Dramatic Opening. Imagine this. With just a few $100s of starting capital, you could transform an abandoned corner of your backyard pond into a steady, money machine that pays you month after month. Sounds impossible, right? Too good to be true? Yet hundreds of farmers across Vietnam are already doing exactly that, right on their own land. And here's the twist. The secret doesn't lie in planting some exotic crop or raising a rare animal you've never heard of. The hidden key to wealth is a bird you may have seen gliding across rice paddies or paddling in forgotten ponds. A bird so ordinary most people would never dream of turning it into a profitable business. That bird is the white-breasted waterhen, locally known as the lilla. Take the story of Mr. Hung, a farmer living on the outskirts of Hanoi. For years, he struggled with traditional livestock, chickens, ducks, even a herd of over 100 pigs. Every year, the same heartbreak repeated itself: outbreaks of disease, unstable prices, and mountains of debt. Hung often considered giving up farming altogether, leaving his village to work as a laborer in the city. But then, by sheer luck, he stumbled upon the idea of raising lilla. At first, he laughed. Raise lilla? How could that ever work? These were wild birds, untamed, free, practically impossible to domesticate. Who in their right mind would think of making a business out of them? Yet Hung's curiosity, combined with his burning desire to change his life, pushed him to give it a try. And within just a few years, everything changed. The man who once failed miserably with chickens and pigs became the proud owner of a thriving lilla farm, earning hundreds of millions of dong each year. From a dilapidated shack, his family now lives in a spacious home, and his children enjoy better schooling and brighter futures. But Hung's story is not unique. Down in Dong Nai, Ms. Lan was drowning in debt after failed attempts at raising pigs and cattle. She, too, turned to lilla farming. Thanks to their natural resistance to disease, their ease of care, and the strong demand from specialty restaurants, Lan not only paid off her debts but also built a flourishing farm. And the most astonishing part? The initial investment she made was just a fraction of what it would have cost to raise pigs or chickens. Here's the bigger picture. While countless farmers remain trapped in the endless cycle of good harvest, low price, with traditional livestock, a handful of pioneers have leapt ahead, seizing the untapped opportunity of lilla farming, a bird once overlooked, now emerging as a new goldmine in modern agriculture. And the best part? This opportunity is still wide open for anyone bold enough to try. Picture it. That patch of swampy land in your backyard, choked with weeds and forgotten junk. In just a few months, it could become a source of stable income. Imagine a flock of lilla gliding gracefully across the water, thriving on natural feed like farm scraps and aquatic plants. No more sleepless nights worrying about expensive commercial feed or devastating epidemics. Instead, you can rely on the resilience of these birds and reap economic rewards that far surpass chickens, ducks, or even pigs. In today's video, we'll dive deep into the secrets of making a fortune with lilla. From their origins and habits, to building simple yet effective housing, to choosing the right breeding stock, mastering the care process, and uncovering the secrets to year-round reproduction, you'll learn it all. Most importantly, you'll hear real-life success stories from farmers who've already turned this dream into reality, proving that anyone can transform their life if they're willing to take the leap. This isn't some get-rich-quick scam, nor is it a rosy fantasy. This is a real opportunity that has already helped countless rural families escape poverty and climb into prosperity. If you've ever felt trapped in the cycle of working hard with little to show for it, stay with us, because the secrets you're about to uncover may just inspire you to become the next proud lilla farm owner in your community. Part 2: Discovering the secrets of the lilla bird. Just hearing the name lilla is enough to stir up nostalgic images for many rural families. Flocks of sleek little birds gliding across ponds, their calls echoing through the peaceful countryside. For generations, these birds have been considered friendly companions of the rice fields, symbols of abundance and tranquility. Yet almost no one imagined that this unassuming, water-loving bird could become a powerful ace card in the pursuit of rural prosperity. The lily's natural home is in wetlands, ponds, canals, and small rivers. They are small, elegant creatures with glossy feathers, agile bodies, and wings strong enough for short bursts but not for long migrations. They prefer swimming, dabbling, and foraging close to home, snapping up small fish, shrimp, or leftover grains of rice after the harvest. In the eyes of the farmers, Lila were always the friends of the rice paddies. Here's where the mystery begins. Although Lila are technically wild birds, once introduced to a farm pond or backyard wetland, they don't fly away. That single fact changed everything. Farmers realized that when these birds were provided with food and a secure environment, their natural instinct was to stay. Unlike chickens or ducks that can easily escape, Lila prefer the comfort of water, shade, and safety. This discovery opened the door to something extraordinary, turning a wild bird into a manageable, profitable livestock species. And the value they carry goes far beyond just being easy to raise. The meat of the Lila is unlike anything else, richly flavored, tender yet firm, considered by many as a delicacy superior to chicken or duck. For centuries, the wealthy sought it out in specialty dishes. And today, upscale restaurants are willing to pay premium prices. A pair of mature Lila can sell for hundreds of thousands of dong. Sometimes even more, depending on quality and season. Some restaurants even place standing orders, desperate to secure steady supply. But it's not just about taste. In Vietnamese tradition, the Lila also carries a symbolic meaning: prosperity, unity, and abundance. Families believe that serving this bird at gatherings brings good fortune and success. That cultural association only fuels demand, making the Lila not just food but also a marker of status and luck. Of course, newcomers often ask, isn't it illegal to farm wild birds? Don't I need a special permit? The answer may surprise you. No. The Lila is not listed as a protected or prohibited species by the government. As long as farmers breed them in captivity, producing chicks, not capturing them from the wild, the practice is fully legal. This overlooked fact has given bold farmers the confidence to build entire businesses without fear of red tape or penalties. Now, is this just a passing trend? A temporary craze? The answer is a resounding no. In today's farming environment, where the costs of industrial feed skyrocket and epidemics devastate traditional livestock like pigs, chickens, and ducks, the Lila represents something different: a sustainable, low-cost, high-profit alternative. It embodies three golden traits: easy to raise, highly resistant to disease, and consistently profitable. Even better, the market demand is rising rapidly. With the boom of specialty restaurants, growing consumer appetite for clean and unique foods, and the shortage of suppliers, the gap between supply and demand has never been greater. This imbalance creates a golden advantage for those willing to step into the field early. To the untrained eye, the Lila may seem like nothing more than a quaint country bird. But for sharp, forward-thinking farmers, it is nothing less than a ticket to transformation. From wild ponds to home gardens, from childhood memories to fine dining tables, this little bird is writing a new chapter in modern agriculture. And perhaps, as you listen now, you're realizing, this story isn't just about them. It's about you. It's about the possibility of turning your overlooked patch of land into a thriving source of income. The Lila isn't just a bird, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, waiting for those brave enough to claim it. Part 3: The Breakthrough Housing Model. If you want to succeed with Lila farming, if you want strong, healthy flocks that reproduce steadily and generate real profits, then one factor matters more than anything else: the housing system. Many beginners make the mistake of thinking they need to invest huge sums, tens of thousands of dollars, into complex facilities, concrete pens, and modernized equipment. But the truth is almost the opposite. The real secret lies in a simple, affordable formula that balances the bird's natural needs with the farmer's resources. This smart design delivers maximum efficiency without breaking the bank. So, what exactly is this formula? It starts with one principle: Lila are water birds. They are happiest and healthiest when they have access to both water and land. That means the ideal setup is a combination of a pond and a patch of dry ground. Wave water area. As little as 50 to 100 square meters is enough for dozens of birds. If you have more land, expansion is easy and profitable. Seedling dry area. A strip of 20 to 30 square meters is sufficient for resting, nesting, and feeding. With that foundation, farmers have developed 3 practical models. 1. The garden model. For families with a backyard or unused plot. This is the simplest option. Renovate a corner of an old pond or swamp. Add some shade trees, and let the lillas swim and forage naturally. Their diet will be supplemented with grass, snails, and tiny fish found right there in the environment. 2. The pond model. Perfect for farmers who already raise fish. Partition off a section of the pond with simple fencing. Create a small hut or shelter on the bank, and let the lilla coexist with the fish. This system is a 2-in-1 setup. Fish below, birds above, all contributing to a shared ecosystem. 3. The combination model. Widely considered the most effective. This model blends the two: plenty of water for exercise, and ample dry land for resting and nesting. The balance creates healthier birds, faster growth, and higher reproduction rates. And here's the genius behind the design. The 3 No's principle. Crossmark no big costs. Forget about expensive materials. Simple bamboo poles, mesh fencing, and recycled wood are enough. A sturdy, functional system can be built for just a few $100s. Crossmark no complexity. No need for high-tech infrastructure. All you need is clean water, shade, and secure boundaries. Crossmark no pollution, because lilla are efficient eaters and produce minimal waste. The system is naturally clean, and when combined with fish farming, the bird's waste becomes organic fertilizer, nourishing the pond and creating a closed-loop ecosystem. Of course, there are details worth noting. While lilla don't typically fly away, it's still wise to build a fence 1.5 to 2 meters high for security. Adding floating plants like water hyacinth or morning glory not only mimics their natural habitat but also helps reduce stress. Boosting egg production. To illustrate how effective this can be, let's look at the story of Mr. Tuan from Nguyen. He started with a 300 square meter fish pond. Instead of just raising fish as before, he sectioned off part of it with bamboo fencing, built a simple wooden hut for the birds, and invested less than $400 in setup. Within a year, his flock grew from just a few dozen to nearly 300 birds. Supplying local restaurants regularly, his profits from lilla were triple what he earned from fish. And the daily workload was actually easier. The lesson is clear. Success doesn't come from pouring in massive amounts of money. It comes from designing intelligently, in harmony with the bird's natural instincts. Water to swim, land to rest, safety to thrive. With these 3 elements, the lilla flourish, disease rates plummet, and profits soar. So, can you see it now? Even if all you have is an abandoned corner of land with a small pond, you could be just a few steps away from your own mini gold mine. You don't need a huge farm. You don't need advanced technology. You just need to understand the secret of the housing model. And once you do, your little backyard could transform into a thriving lilla farm worth thousands of dollars. Part 4: Secrets of Brooding and Breeding Selection. In any type of animal husbandry, one golden rule always applies. The quality of your stock determines the success of your farm. For lilla farming, this truth is magnified. Choosing the right breeding birds and mastering the brooding process can make or break your entire operation. There's an old saying, one small mistake at the start can lead to disaster later. When it comes to lilla, this couldn't be more accurate. Strong, healthy breeding stock will produce vigorous offspring, grow quickly, lay eggs consistently, and resist disease. But if you start with weak or mixed blood birds, you're setting yourself up for frustration, losses, and wasted capital. So how do you know what to look for? First, you must understand the difference between commercial lilla and breeding lilla. Bird commercial lilla are raised mainly for meat. They're grown quickly, usually sold at 6 to 8 months of age, and don't require strict bloodline standards. Egg breeding lilla are the foundation of your flock's future. These birds must be carefully selected for their health, Physical form, fertility, and resilience. They are the cornerstone of long-term success. To select proper breeding stock, farmers check for symmetry in body shape, glossy feathers, upright posture, alert movements, and quick reflexes. Ideally, you should source these birds from reputable farms with proven experience, not from random sellers at local markets. Commercial birds may look cheaper at first, but their productivity and survival rates rarely measure up. But even if you choose the best breeding stock, there is still a critical hurdle: the brooding stage. Lilla chicks are delicate, especially in the first 2 to 3 weeks after hatching. This period is often where new farmers stumble. High mortality rates can occur due to poor brooding conditions, and entire investments can vanish in days. But with the right knowledge, you can achieve near 100% survival. So what's the secret? It comes down to 2 key factors: temperature and environment. Fire temperature. The brooding area must stay consistently warm, between 82 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 28 to 32 degrees Celsius. Farmers often use heat lamps, coal stoves, or even simple covered lights to keep the area cozy. Broom cleanliness. The floor should be lined with rice husks or straw, kept dry and replaced often. Damp floors cause cold feet syndrome, one of the leading killers of young chicks. Then comes feed. In their first weeks, chicks are given tiny grain meals, broken rice, ground feed, and boiled egg yolk mashed into a soft mix. Experienced farmers also add finely chopped greens or aquatic plants to strengthen digestion and immunity. The results? Hardy chicks with much higher survival rates. Another hidden key lies in sex identification. Many beginners overlook this, but if your flock has the wrong ratio of males to females, you'll face problems later: fights among males, or low fertilization rates if females outnumber them too heavily. So how can you tell them apart? With practice, it becomes clear. Males tend to be taller, with longer necks, slightly larger beaks, and louder, sharper calls. Females are shorter, rounder in the belly, and their calls are softer and lower. Even in chicks, subtle differences in behavior and wing patterns can help an experienced eye make the right choice. For best results, aim for a ratio of 1 male to every 3 females. This golden balance ensures peace in the flock, high fertility, and strong chick production. The lesson here is simple but powerful: never rush the brooding and breeding stage. Take your time, choose carefully, build your flock on a solid foundation. When your breeding stock is healthy and your brooding success rate is high, you're not just raising birds, you're cultivating a sustainable fortune. With this knowledge, you can step confidently into the next stage, raising your flock from start to finish. And that's exactly where we're headed next. Part 5: the complete A to Z farming process. Once you have strong, healthy breeding stock, the next challenge is knowing exactly how to raise your flock step by step. This is the roadmap that turns your investment from a hopeful experiment into a real money-making machine. The good news? Raising Lilla is not nearly as complicated, or as expensive, as many people imagine. If you understand their natural growth cycle and give them what they need at each stage, they practically thrive on their own. Let's break it down from beginning to end. Hatching chick stage 1. The chick phase, 0 to 3 weeks. This is the most fragile period of a Lily's life. Tiny, weak, and vulnerable, chicks depend on you to survive. Keep the brooding pen at a steady 82 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 28 to 32 degrees Celsius. Protect them from drafts, dampness, and predators. Feed them broken rice, small feed pellets, mashed boiled egg yolk, and chopped greens. Always provide clean, fresh water. Handled correctly, survival rates can reach 95 to 100%. This is the foundation of your flock's future. Baby chick stage 2. The juvenile phase, 1 to 3 months. At this stage, the birds grow stronger and start exploring their environment. They need water to swim, exercise, and develop their muscles. Begin releasing them into ponds or shallow water. Feed them a mix of rice, corn, aquatic plants, and farm byproducts. Supplement with low-cost commercial feed only when necessary. The magic of this stage is how cheap the diet is: farm scraps. field leftovers, and weeds are more than enough. Duck stage 3. The grower phase, 3 to 6 months. Now the birds are maturing rapidly. Their appetites grow, and they need more protein for muscle development. Expand their diet to include small fish, shrimp, snails, and insects. Mix in corn, cassava, and other grains for energy. Separate males from females as their traits become more obvious. Keep your best females for breeding. And raise the rest as meat birds. By the end of this stage, many are already reaching saleable weight. Egg stage 4. The breeding phase, 7 months and beyond. At around 7 to 8 months, the Lilla reach sexual maturity. This is where the real multiplication begins. Provide nesting spaces made from straw or dry grass in quiet, shaded corners. Feed them nutrient-rich diets with extra greens, grains, and protein sources to sustain egg laying. With proper care, females can lay year-round, producing multiple clutches of eggs annually. Each egg represents not just one chick, but the potential for an entirely new income stream. Seedling the secret of integrated farming. Here's one of the greatest breakthroughs successful farmers discovered: the combination model. Don't just raise Lilla. Combine them with fish and aquatic plants to create a closed-loop ecosystem. Lillas swim and feed in the pond, leaving behind organic waste. Fish thrive on the nutrients from that waste. Aquatic plants like water spinach or hyacinth grow in the pond, both cleaning the water and providing food for the Lilla. It's a perfect cycle: birds, fish, and plants supporting each other. The result? Double the profit, half the cost. Farmers in the Mekong Delta have proven this model works spectacularly. Instead of raising just one product, they earn from 3: fish, vegetables, and Lilla. Customers love it, costs stay low, and the ecosystem sustains itself. Light bulb the big picture. From chick to adult, from growth to reproduction, the Lily's life cycle is straightforward, efficient, and forgiving. When you know what to do at each stage, you eliminate guesswork and wasted money. And the beauty of it all? You don't need a massive farm, expensive feed, or complex equipment, just knowledge, observation, and a willingness to follow nature's rhythm. Raise them right, and your backyard pond transforms into a steady cash generator. Do it consistently, and within a few short years, your farm could grow from a handful of birds to hundreds, even thousands, producing meat, eggs, and breeding stock for eager buyers. This is not just farming. It's financial independence, one bird at a time. Part 6: Special Techniques to Double Profits. Many farmers who have succeeded with Lilla farming agree, profit doesn't just come from raising birds until they're big enough to sell. True wealth comes from knowing the little tricks that maximize productivity and multiply your returns. A few well-kept secrets, simple adjustments that cost little or nothing, can double, even triple your income without requiring more space or more investment. Egg spotting: the signs of egg laying. Here's the first big secret. Female Lilla give clear signals when they're about to lay eggs, but only sharp-eyed farmers notice. If you miss the signs, you can lose thousands of dollars in potential revenue. How do you tell? A hen close to laying has a rounder belly, with the vent area noticeably expanded. Her belly feathers may look slightly ruffled. Behavior changes: she becomes quieter, isolates herself from the flock, and searches for a secluded spot. This is your golden window. If you prepare proper nests in time, the eggs are safe, clean, and fertile. If you ignore the signs, hens lay randomly, and eggs can break, rot, or be lost entirely. Remember, a single fertile Lilla egg can be worth several times more than meat. Failing to manage this stage is like throwing money away. Fried shrimp: the secret diet for year-round eggs. Another hidden key lies in feed. If you only feed rice, grain, and vegetables, the birds will survive, but egg production will be irregular. To get consistent, year-round laying, you need to enrich their diet with natural protein sources. Veteran farmers recommend small fish, shrimp, or ground snails, golden apple snails, chopped and mixed into feed. Earthworms, which are protein-rich and easy to farm. Crushed oyster shells or ground eggshells to boost calcium for strong, fertile eggs. This diet doesn't cost much, Most of it comes from what's already abundant in rural areas, but it keeps hens healthy, fertile, and productive even during cold months when most birds slow down. Empty nests that multiply egg production. Many beginners overthink nesting, building elaborate or expensive structures. But here's the truth, Lila prefers simple, natural nests. The trick? Use dry straw, grass, or palm leaves, bundled into round, cozy shapes. Place them in quiet, shaded corners, away from noise and predators. And here's the real hack. Provide more nests than hens. For example, if you have 10 females, prepare at least 15 nests. This gives each hen the freedom to choose her spot, reducing stress and boosting laying rates. Farmers who use this method report egg production doubling compared to flocks forced to share limited nests. Feather faster growth, healthier birds. Aside from egg production, weight gain is a crucial driver of profit. To maximize growth, you need to focus on environment and diet. Environment. Lila are water birds. They thrive when they can swim daily. Swimming builds strong muscles, resulting in lean, flavorful meat. It also lowers stress and strengthens immunity. Clean water. Regularly refresh the pond or grow floating plants like water hyacinth to naturally filter and oxygenate the water. Diet. Supplement cheap staples like rice, corn, or cassava with agricultural byproducts, rice bran, soybean residue, vegetable scraps. Provide feed in smaller, more frequent portions so the birds digest efficiently. And here's a priceless farmer's trick. Mix chopped garlic or ginger into the feed 2 to 3 times a week. These natural antibiotics boost digestion, fight infections, and keep your flock healthy, without expensive medicines. Moneybag the power of small adjustments. When you combine these techniques, the results are dramatic. Hens laying steadily year-round, higher fertility rates and stronger chicks. Meat birds reaching sale weight faster. Lower costs thanks to natural feed and home remedies. The difference between an average farmer and a master farmer often comes down to these details. They don't require large investments. They don't require high technology. They simply require attention, timing, and a willingness to learn from nature. Think of them as hidden gears in your farming machine. Once you turn them, everything moves smoother, faster, and more profitably. And as you'll see in the next chapter, there's another secret weapon behind Lily's success story: their extraordinary ability to thrive on cheap, easily available food, turning what many people consider farm waste into pure profit. Part 7: What they eat. How you profit. One of the greatest advantages of Lila farming is also one of the simplest. These birds eat cheap, plentiful, local food, unlike pigs or industrial chickens that rely heavily on expensive commercial feed. Lila thrive on what's already lying around farms, fields, and waterways. That means you can raise them at a fraction of the cost, while still selling them for premium prices. Rice plant cheap, abundant food right in your backyard. The Lila diet is refreshingly diverse. They happily consume rice, paddy grain, and broken rice left over after harvest, corn, cassava, and sweet potatoes. Vegetables like water spinach, sweet potato vines, and swamp greens. Aquatic plants like water hyacinth. Protein from small fish, shrimp, snails, and golden apple snails. Even items many farmers consider waste, such as leftover vegetables from markets, or snails pulled from rice paddies, become valuable nutrition for Lila. What others throw away, you can turn into feed that produces high-value meat and eggs. It's farming alchemy, turning trash into treasure. Bar graph: a real cost versus profit breakdown. Let's do a quick calculation. Suppose you start with 50 birds. Over 6 months, your total feed costs might be only $120 to $160 if you make good use of natural and farm byproduct feed. By the end of that cycle, each bird sells for $12 to $16. With 50 birds, you're bringing in $600 to $800. That's 4 to 5 times your feed cost in pure profit, in just one round. And if you raise breeding stock instead of just meat, the numbers get even better. A pair of breeding Lila can fetch $40 to $50, sometimes more. Each hen lays dozens of eggs per year, which means your flock multiplies like clockwork. Within a year or two, those 50 birds could turn into hundreds, creating a compounding source of income. Chicken comparing with chickens and ducks. Industrial chickens and ducks require large amounts of commercial feed. Prices rise constantly, and disease outbreaks are a constant threat. By contrast, Lila feed costs are 40 to 50% lower. Sale prices double or even triple that of common poultry. Their resistance to disease lowers medical expenses and losses. It's no wonder many farmers conclude, Lila is far more profitable than pigs. Chickens, or ducks in today's market. Flying money, small investment, fast turnover. Another hidden advantage is the speed of return. You don't need massive capital. A few $100s is enough to get started with dozens of birds. Within 5 to 6 months, you've sold your first batch, earned back your investment, and pocketed profits. The short cycle means you're never stuck with capital tied up for long. Instead, money flows quickly, giving you stability and confidence to expand. Take the real story of Mr. Wah in the Mekong Delta. He invested only about $400, buying 20 pairs of Lila and building a simple bamboo and mesh enclosure. 8 months later, he sold 100 meat birds for nearly $1.600. At the same time, he kept 30 hens for breeding. Within a year, his flock grew so large that he was supplying restaurants weekly. His feed costs? Almost nothing. Most came from snails in his rice fields and vegetable scraps from the local market. He laughs now, saying, I used to think farm waste was a burden. Now I see it as money swimming in my pond. Seedling turning farm waste into gold. This is the genius of Lila farming. You are not fighting against rising feed prices. You are bypassing them entirely. Every piece of leftover grain, every discarded vegetable, every snail or insect becomes profit. You're recycling nature into value. You're cleaning up waste while creating wealth. You're feeding birds cheaply while selling them dearly. That's why so many farmers are calling Lila a low-cost, high-return miracle. The bottom line. So, what do they eat? And how do you profit? The answer is simple. They eat what's cheapest. And you sell them for what's highest. The formula couldn't be clearer. Small investment, low cost, fast turnover, high margin. This is the very definition of a goldmine farming model. And as you'll soon discover in the next chapter, behind these numbers are real people, farmers whose lives have been transformed forever by this little bird. Part 8: Inspirational Success Stories. Nothing inspires quite like real stories. It's one thing to hear about profits and possibilities in theory, but it's another to meet the ordinary farmers who've turned this little bird into the key to transforming their lives. Man farmer from struggling farmer to proud provider. Take Mr. Min, a farmer living on the outskirts of Hanoi. For years, Min raised chickens and ducks, like countless others in his village. But the more he raised, the more discouraged he became. Disease outbreaks swept through his flock almost every year. Prices for poultry swung wildly, sometimes high, often crashing just when his birds were ready for sale. Profits were slim to none. There were times when Min even lost money, left with no choice but to sell off his birds at rock-bottom prices. Frustrated and exhausted, Min nearly gave up farming altogether. He considered leaving his land and working in a factory far from home. But then, by chance, a friend introduced him to the idea of raising Lila. Skeptical but curious, Min began small, just a few dozen pairs. He built a simple enclosure using bamboo poles and mesh, released them into his backyard pond, and fed them rice, vegetables, and a few fish and shrimp he caught locally. To his surprise, the birds thrived. They rarely fell ill, grew steadily, and required little extra care. After 6 months, his first batch of Lila sold for nearly double the price of chicken. Soon, restaurants and traders were knocking on his door, eager to buy more. By the end of the year, his Lila earnings were 5 times higher than what he had ever made with chickens. With the profits, Min paid off debts, built a sturdier house, and sent his children to better schools. Smiling, he often tells his neighbors, "I was late to the chicken game, but I was early to Lila. That made all the difference." Woman farmer, the costly lesson of cheap shortcuts. But not every story is a triumph from the start. Consider Ms. Han, a farmer from the Mekong Delta. Excited by the buzz around Lilla, she jumped in quickly, wanting to save money. She bought chicks from an unverified seller at the market. They were cheap, half the price of birds from reputable farms. It didn't take long for the problems to appear. Many of the chicks were weak and sickly. Within weeks, half her flock had died. The survivors grew slowly, looked scruffy, and showed poor fertility. To make matters worse, her pen was poorly designed, too little water space, not enough shade. The birds became stressed, and egg production was abysmal. Han's first attempt ended in failure and loss. But instead of giving up, she reflected on her mistakes. She realized she had ignored the fundamentals: quality breeding stock and proper housing. The second time, she did it right. She bought from a trusted breeder, redesigned her pond and land system, and followed the feeding methods of experienced farmers. The difference was night and day. Within a year, she was selling Lilla meat to local restaurants and supplying chicks to new farmers. Today, she proudly calls herself a Lilla Lady Boss, and she never forgets to warn newcomers: cheap birds will cost you the most. Glowing star, thinking differently, winning big. What do these stories tell us? Success isn't about luck. It's about daring to think differently and choosing the road less traveled. While most of their neighbors kept struggling with chickens, pigs, or ducks, these pioneers tried something new. They didn't chase the crowd, they led it. One successful farmer put it best: when everyone raises chickens, the market collapses. But when you're the only one with Lilla, the market comes to you. That's the power of being an early adopter. The farmers who embraced Lilla farming weren't wealthy when they started. Many had nothing but a few million dong, some bamboo, and a pond in their backyard. But what they did have was courage, the courage to try, to learn, and to persist. And that courage transformed their lives. From debt to freedom, from crumbling houses to modern homes, from uncertainty to stability. Sparkles the lesson for you. Behind every success story is the same truth: Lilla farming works. But only if you do it with care, patience, and the right mindset. This isn't about luck or shortcuts. It's about making smart choices, applying proven techniques, and believing in the potential of a little bird that most of the world ignores. If they could do it, ordinary farmers with limited resources, then so can you. Part 9: Disease Prevention. Protecting your capital. In farming, there's an old saying: prevention is better than cure. It holds true for every species, and it's no different with Lilla. One of the greatest strengths of these birds is their natural resistance to disease. Compared to chickens, ducks, or pigs, they are far less likely to fall ill. But don't mistake resilience for invincibility. If you grow careless, if the environment becomes unsanitary or unbalanced, sickness can still creep in. And when it does, it can eat away at both your flock and your profits. That's why successful farmers treat disease prevention as the very foundation of their business. Protect your flock, and you protect your capital. Microbe common health challenges. While Lilla are hardy, they are not immune to all problems. The most common issues farmers face include digestive troubles, often caused by spoiled feed, dirty water, or damp flooring. Symptoms include diarrhea, weakness, and poor appetite. Respiratory infections, triggered by sudden weather changes or drafts in the brooding area. Symptoms include wheezing, labored breathing, and reduced activity. Parasites and fungi. If conditions remain damp for too long, mites or fungal infections can spread, irritating the birds and stunting growth. Nutritional deficiencies. A narrow or unbalanced diet can lead to poor growth, weak immunity, and reduced egg production. Herb natural remedies from the garden. One of the biggest advantages of raising Lilla is that you don't need to rely heavily on expensive veterinary medicines. Traditional knowledge and natural remedies can go a long way. Guava, betel, or green tea leaves, crushed and soaked in water. They act as natural antibiotics for digestive issues like diarrhea. Garlic and ginger, mixed into feed 2 or 3 times a week. These natural boosters strengthen the immune system and fight bacteria. Herbs like basil or Vietnamese coriander improve digestion, freshen the environment, and even reduce unpleasant odors. Lemongrass or lime leaves, boiled and used to steam the co-op area. They help disinfect and repel parasites like mosquitoes. These remedies are cheap, accessible, and chemical-free. They not only keep your flock healthy but also reassure customers that your product is clean and safe. Pill when to use medicine. Experienced farmers know the balance. Natural remedies are best for prevention in mild cases. But serious illnesses sometimes require veterinary intervention. Use medicine if symptoms are severe, spreading fast, or causing bloody stools or prolonged respiratory issues. Always follow proper dosages and respect withdrawal times before selling birds. To ensure food safety, supplement with probiotics or vitamins periodically to boost immunity and overall health. This balanced approach keeps costs low while ensuring your flock stays healthy and market-ready. Broom clean habits. Strong flocks. The true secret to prevention is not medicine, it's management. Successful farmers follow a simple checklist. Keep the coop and pond clean, dry, and well ventilated. Replace bedding regularly to avoid dampness. Refresh drinking water daily. Ensure feed is fresh and never moldy. Maintain proper stocking density so birds have space to move freely. These small, consistent habits reduce stress, prevent disease, and increase survival rates dramatically. Light bulb guarding your investment. In the end, disease prevention is not about fancy strategies. It's about discipline, farmers who take cleanliness seriously, who pay attention to details, and who use natural remedies wisely, rarely face serious losses. But those who get careless, letting bedding grow damp, ignoring spoiled feed, failing to refresh water, are often the ones who watch their flocks dwindle and their profits vanish. Think of prevention as an insurance policy. By keeping your birds healthy, you're not just saving them, you're safeguarding your hard-earned capital. Because the truth is simple, strong, disease-free flocks mean steady income, stable growth, and a farm you can build your future upon. Part 10. Harvesting and selling differently. In farming, raising animals is only half the battle. The other half, the one that decides whether you thrive or just scrape by, is how you harvest and sell. Many farmers know how to raise good birds but struggle with marketing. As a result, they settle for low prices and slim profits. But the smart ones? They know exactly when to harvest, how to classify their birds, and how to carve out their own channels of distribution. That's why they always stay one step ahead. Alarm clock. The golden time to harvest. Lilla reach market weight at around 6 to 8 months old. This is the sweet spot. At this age, the birds are plump and firm, with meat that is tender yet flavorful. Restaurants and buyers are eager, because the quality is at its peak. Prices are highest, offering maximum profit. Wait too long, and the birds become older, tougher, and less valuable. Sell too early, and you lose weight and revenue. That's why farmers call the 6 to 8 month window the golden harvest time. Egg classifying for maximum profit. Not all Lilla are created equal. Some are best for the dinner table, while others are valuable for breeding. Knowing how to classify them makes the difference between average profits and exceptional ones. Meat birds. These are the Lilla that reach 0.8 to 1.2 kilogram. Healthy and clean, ready for sale to restaurants and specialty shops. They bring good prices, especially when demand is high. Breeding birds. These are the gems of your flock. The best hens, round-bellied, glossy-feathered, alert, and strong. Tall males with sharp calls are worth far more as breeding stock. A pair can sell for 3 or 4 times the price of a meat bird. Savvy farmers adjust their strategy depending on demand. If restaurants are clamoring for meat, they focus on selling finished birds. If other farmers are entering the business, breeding stock becomes more lucrative. Either way, classification is key. Shopping cart. Building your own sales channels. In traditional farming, middlemen often control the market. They dictate the prices, leaving farmers with little bargaining power. But with Lilla, you have the chance to flip the script. There are 3 main channels to explore. 1. Restaurants and specialty eateries. These are premium buyers. Willing to pay top dollar for fresh Lilla? Invite chefs or owners to your farm. Let them see your clean setup. And build trust. Once you establish relationships, you'll have consistent orders. 2. Traders and wholesalers. While prices are slightly lower, these buyers can move large volumes quickly. They are a safety net when you need to sell fast. 3. Direct-to-customer sales. Platforms like Facebook, Zallo, and community groups allow you to sell directly to consumers. This not only raises prices but also builds your personal brand. Some farmers even post short videos of their ponds, birds swimming, eating natural food, living clean lives. Customers are captivated. They see transparency, trust quality, and are willing to pay more. Glowing star building a brand that stands out. Here's where the most successful farmers shine. They don't just sell Lilla. They sell a story. Instead of saying, "I have Lilla for sale," they brand it. Homegrown Lilla 100% clean. Raised on rice and vegetables. Lilla from my hometown, a specialty you can trust. Lamb River Lilla, pure taste from Nagayan. By connecting their birds to their community, their story, and their values, they stand out in the market. Buyers remember them, recommend them, and pay more for their product. Take the case of Mr. Tuan from Nagayan. He branded his product as Lamb River Lilla. He regularly posted photos of his pond, showing birds swimming naturally, eating farm-grown feed, and thriving in a clean, healthy environment. Soon, not only local traders but restaurants from Hanoi and Da Nang were calling him directly. Some even placed deposits weeks in advance just to guarantee supply. Light bulb: the 4-step sales formula. To summarize, successful selling comes down to 4 simple steps. 1. Harvest at the golden time. 2. Classify birds smartly into meat and breeding stock. 3. Develop multiple sales channels: restaurants, traders, and direct customers. 4. Build a brand and tell your story. Follow this formula, and you're not just selling birds, you're creating a business with stability, trust, and premium value. Because in the end, Lilla farming isn't just about what happens in the pond. It's about how you connect that pond to the marketplace, and how you turn every bird into opportunity. Part 11: Conclusion and Final Message. As we near the end of this journey, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. What have we truly discovered about Lilla farming? At its core, the lessons can be summed up in 3 golden points. Moneybag: low capital. With just a few $100s, anyone can begin. You don't need massive loans, high-tech equipment, or sprawling land. Upward trend: high profit, thanks to low feed costs, strong disease resistance, and premium selling prices. The margins are far greater than traditional livestock. Globe: easily scalable. From a small backyard pond to a thriving farm with hundreds or even thousands of birds. The model grows naturally with your ambition. This is why farmers across Vietnam are calling Lilla farming a life-changing model. It's more than just an alternative, it's a true revolution for small and medium-scale farmers who are tired of the endless cycle of working hard yet staying poor. Key: a proven path to change. Look at the farmers we met along the way. Mr. Hung in Hanoi, who escaped debt and built a better home for his family. Ms. Lan in Dong Nai, who turned failure with pigs into success with Lilla. Mr. Tuan in Nagayan, who transformed his fish pond into a profitable dual system. And countless others, from the Mekong Delta to the Northern Highlands, who are quietly rewriting their futures. These are not wealthy investors or corporate giants. They are everyday people, just like you, who dared to take a chance on something new. Their stories prove that Lilla farming is not a fantasy. It's a proven path. Seedling from smallholders to big dreams. The beauty of this model lies in its potential to grow. Start with a handful of birds: right pointing arrow, earn stable income. Expand into a mid-sized farm: right pointing arrow, supply local restaurants consistently. Scale up into a cooperative or partnership: right pointing arrow, tap into regional and export markets. What begins as a small experiment can evolve into a sustainable agribusiness, creating jobs, supporting communities, and contributing to food security. This isn't just about raising birds, it's about building an ecosystem of prosperity. Light bulb: a sustainable future. In today's world, where industrial farming is plagued by rising feed costs, volatile markets, and health risks, Lila farming stands out as a sustainable alternative. It uses natural, low-cost feed. It integrates seamlessly with fish ponds and crop farming. It produces multiple income streams: meat, eggs, breeding stock, and organic fertilizer. It reduces waste by turning farm byproducts into valuable resources. This is farming that respects nature, supports families, and delivers real profits. Sparkle's the final word. So let's ask again, why Lila? Because it is low cost, high return, and easy to replicate. Because it empowers small farmers to take control of their futures. Because it proves that sometimes the most overlooked opportunities, the birds in the rice paddies, the ponds behind our homes, hold the keys to transformation. And because, ultimately, it's not just about farming. It's about freedom. Freedom from debt, freedom from uncertainty, freedom to dream bigger, live better, and provide more for those you love. As you finish this video, remember, opportunity doesn't wait. The farmers who are thriving today are the ones who dared to start yesterday. The question is, will you be one of the pioneers who grabs this chance now? Or will you let it slip by, while others build their futures with it? Part 12: Call to Action. If this video has opened your eyes, if you felt that spark of possibility, then don't let it fade. Knowledge without action changes nothing. But knowledge paired with courage? That changes everything. So here's our message to you. Right finger, take the first step today. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait until someone else proves it works again. The proof is already here, in the stories of Mr. Hung, Ms. Lan, Mr. Tuan, and countless others. All that's missing is your decision to act. Right finger, start small. Dream big. You don't need vast resources. You don't need to quit everything overnight. Begin with a few pairs of Lila. Test it on your land. Learn as you go. Each small success builds confidence. And confidence builds a future. Right finger, be part of the movement. This isn't just about you. Every time a farmer escapes debt, every time a family builds a stronger home, every time a community grows more self-reliant, we all move forward together. Lila farming is more than a business. It's a movement toward sustainable prosperity. Join the Farmers Alley community. Here at the Farmers Alley, our mission is to share real opportunities, real stories, and real solutions for farmers around the world. If you believe in building a better future for agriculture, if you want to be part of a global family that learns, grows, and wins together, then this is your home. Subscribe to our channel. Don't miss the next life-changing model we'll explore. From livestock to crops to aquaculture, we bring you the insights that matter. Thumbs up, like, and share this video. Help spread the word so that more farmers discover opportunities that can transform their lives. Speech balloon, leave a comment. Tell us your thoughts. Have you tried raising Lila? Are you curious to start? Your story could inspire someone else. Handshake, stay connected. Follow us on social media. Join the conversation, and become part of the movement to reinvent farming for the future. Glowing star, a final inspiration. Don't let your ideas remain just dreams. Dreams are fragile unless you act on them. The Lila farming model is proof that even small beginnings, an abandoned pond, a few $100s, and a handful of birds, can grow into something extraordinary. So, from the Farmer's Alley to you, take your first step today. Because the future of farming doesn't belong to those who wait. It belongs to those who act.